Hello and welcome to our podcast, Connecting and Supporting Others. I am Mira Reiss and I am delighted to have you here with us. Enjoy! Hello everybody, I'm really pleased today because we have a very special guest. Is Lynn Russell. I can say she's my very special friend. Honestly, we don't know each other for a long time in this life, but we both feel that we know each other many lifetimes before. So I spent very nice time with Lynn. We are actually preparing very special course from her knowledge, and I will talk about this later. But now again, hello Lynn, I'm very happy you are here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mira. I'm delighted that I have the opportunity to do this series. I've been wanting to do a series like this for a long time. So you've given me the opportunity and this is wonderful. So thank you so much.
You are very welcome. And I would like you, please, could you a little bit introduce yourself to our guest today?
Sure. Okay. Well, I first became interested in death and near death when I was a little girl and my grandfather died. And his death made me realize that people die, that all people die, that I was going to die someday. And that terrified me. I didn't want to die. So I was really rumbling around in my brain what that meant. And so I went to my mother and asked her. Now, my mother was an atheist. And so she said, nothing happens, you just disappear. That terrified me. I did not want to, I'm 8, 9, something like that. I didn't want to disappear. So that was a scary thing for me. And I knew it was inevitable that I would die someday. And I couldn't get away from it. So I started to become interested in religions and things like that to see if maybe they had the answer. They seemed to, but I didn't get any answers. I started studying. I was interested in religion before, like around 9 or 10, I started to get quite interested, but I wasn't getting any, I didn't know where to go, the local church or whatever. Anyway, so when I was in my teens, I started to do a research that was, a good solid research. And I researched over the years, I have researched every single religion there is in the world, the major ones. I'm sure there's some I've missed, like Moon. I don't know anything about them. But I did go to the side ones too, like Mormonism and Jehovah's Witness and those kind of people, because I wanted to understand why they thought the way they did. Because that was the first thing. The first thing was the death. Well, I didn't get any answers there. But I was also starting to get very curious, what do people get out of this? The other thing I became very curious about was how religion started and evolved over the centuries. And so that was so that's what kept me motivated. And then in the 70s, there was a big blow up of spiritualism. Spiritualism came into being around, there were people who already were very spiritual and they guided us. And so we were learning what spiritual was all about. And so ashrams became big at that time, and meditation, and people looked beyond. And I loved it. I was just right in there with everybody. It was perfect. And so then over the years, I never lost my interest. When I was in my 30s, mid-30s somewhere, I became interested in science because I was fascinated with outer space and what they were discovering. And it just grew from there. And I kept my fingers in to find out what was what was happening and keep active in it. So I never quite left that behind. And that is part of what I talk about, spirituality and science. And the other thing, when I was retired, it's at 67, I retired. I wanted to write a book, and the book was going to be about a woman who astral projected. And so I thought astral projection, wow. So but I had her doing things I wasn't even sure that happened in real astral, or if it could even be possible. So I wanted to check that out. I went online. And so I went online, but I found some OBE sites, but nothing, that was that answered my questions. But I wound up on NDERF because they had a section on OBEs, and NDERF was at Near Death Experience Research Foundation. So I joined the chat line there, and I was chatting with the people. And that's when Dr. Long said he was looking for someone to do some research for him. And I put my hand up because I was retired. I had time and I could do it. And I started to do the research because I wanted to know what happened after death. Well, that pretty soon left. And I found that I was really interested in the hidden information that was coming back, because after a few hundred near-death experiences, I sort of understood what happened. But there was consistency in some ways, like things that happened repeatedly to everybody, or most people. And so that gave me clues to a deeper spirituality. And that is what I write about primarily, and what I talk about. That's my chief interest, is that deeper. And because I'm interested in science, I've been able to understand quantum physics. Not that I can be a quantum physicist, but I just understand what they're talking about, so I can put it together. And so we have religion and science, and I mix them all together. So that's my story. And that's how I'm here, and I love it. I just love it. I'm so happy. I think I'm the luckiest woman in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate your story, sharing with us. And actually, I would like to say again that we put together a very, very nice course, which will be published shortly. And people who are interested in this could listen it, to purchase it with us. We will promote it shortly. And if you have any question, please ask me or Lynn, and we will be very happy to share with you our information. Okay. First question always is, what is your mission? What is your true?
Oh, what is my mission? My mission in this life is to teach people how magnificent and beautiful they are. That is my mission. If I can do that, then that's all I want. That's all I want. I would just be in seventh heaven if I could do that. It would just be marvelous.
But
my life would be complete.
Yeah. Definitely, I think you have done a lot of in this field, with your books, with your podcasting, with your activities on all social media. I think you are really fulfilling your mission. Great. So thank you for this answer. I have a second question. Imagine that you have a superpower and you can travel back in the time and you are meeting your younger version. And you could give an advice to yourself. What advice it would be?
I would tell my younger self to trust myself more, because I didn't have any trust or faith in my own being. I always looked outside of myself for the answers. And any answer I came up with was tossed out. And so I would tell myself to trust myself more. I would tell myself to challenge myself more, to try things out and see what can I do and what can't I do. Never mind listening to what other people say. Tell myself, go and find out for yourself what you can and can't do. So those are the big ones that I would tell myself. And the third one would be that I'm magnificent, that I'm absolutely wonderful, beautiful person, and that I can accomplish way, way more than I ever thought possible.
Yeah, that's great. But I do think, it was a time in your life, maybe a little bit later how you wanted, you told yourself this, because we can see huge, changes which you made in your life, what you brought to the universe. I think you did it. Maybe you would now prefer to do it a little bit earlier, but everything.
Yeah.
Reason.
Yeah, and I did it in little bit stages, as opposed to a one lump. So I think I would try the lump.
Okay, and now my last question. You have other superpower. You can make a rain. You are like a rainmaker, and it's a lovely sunny day, and you are making rain. So huge rainbow is in the sky. And you put all message you would like to give other people who already receive your message in this rainbow. So everybody who looks there, receive this information, this energy. What you would put there in this rainbow?
I would say what I've been saying several times already. There is only one source, and we are it. And we need to understand that. And that's a hard thing, because we spend our whole lives wrapped up in this separate existence of now or here. But this is the illusion. And we learn that afterwards. So it's sort of sad, because it's sort of sad that we don't know it now in here. And so that's the message I would want people to know, is their true reality is this magnificent, magnificent being. And you're just playing games now. This is the movie, and we're playing games with it. And we're learning and growing from it too.
Great, yeah, I do agree. Actually, this is kind of my approach towards life, that we are like in old movies, like we are projector, we are audience, and we are display, we are the screen. But we kind of separated, we are just in we feel like audience, just watching. But in the real sense, everything it's us, So, but we need time. It's a play, but sometimes it's not so playful how we would like to. Okay.
Yes, that is true. And we really have to understand that, because when we understand that, then we will be lighter, and we will play more, and we will enjoy this existence more. We get so heavy and pressured. And I mean, I've been there, I know. Boy, do I know. But if I had known when I was in my deepest, darkest, that I was source, and that this was a game, or this was play, or this was, it should be fun, my attitude would be completely different. But we take things so serious. And I think one last message I would give is to follow your dream. We do things because it makes money, or it's there, An example would be our jobs. We fall into jobs instead of, doing what we always wanted to do. And so I think that's that. And I have a quick little story with that, if you don't mind. I always wanted to be a writer. I all my life I wanted to be a writer, but I could not write. Could you believe this? I couldn't type. I could not, I knew how to work the keys, but it was almost impossible for me to type a full page without a mistake. And I was slow and pokey, and then along came a word processor. Yeah! I got myself a word processor and I was away.
Great, yeah.
That's when my whole writing career began.
Yeah.
That was in the 90s, in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now look at you, how a great writer you are. You are editing, supporting other people. It's great, that.
I enjoy it. This is, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my answers.
Okay.
At the end,
I want to tell you about my newest book. And the name of it is called Worpple. And that's Worpple. And Worpple is a warm, fuzzy book that teaches children some lessons that will help them in their life, I hope. And so the story is about a boy whose name is Cam. And Cam is mad because he thinks that the world's against him. And he's very poor. He lives in a poor neighborhood and he doesn't have a lot. And so he thinks that, and he has rules and things, and his mom's at him and he argues with his sister. And so he's just mad. Anyway, he winds up going to this fantasy world. And actually it's another dimension. And he goes to this other dimension with Bream, which is one of the characters in this story. And he meets a bunch of warm, fuzzy creatures that are on the other side of this dimension. And while he's there, he learns some very important life lessons. So one of them is that we're all connected, that there is no difference, that life is life, and that we're all one. He also learns that anger rebounds back at you. It doesn't go out there, it comes back at you. And so that's another lesson he learns. He learns that kindness and giving to others is contagious. And so when you start it, the ball running, that it keeps going. And he also learns that love is not just an emotion. Love is one of the greatest powers there is in the universe. And so those are the lessons that Cam learns. And so please look it up online. And I should warn you, please go to the location, either Barnes & Noble or Amazon or places like that, because if you just Google Worpple, you come up with the version that I had published in 2010. And so it's quite different. So make sure that you get the newest version. And it's got an orange cover. So just to let you know which one it is. Okay, well, there you go. So it's been such a pleasure to be together with you and spend time. And thank you so much, Mira, for this opportunity.
You are very, very welcome, Lynn. Thank you for this opportunity. It was very, very big pleasure, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And I hope we can help many people with your lovely thoughts. And I would like just to say that your book is not only maybe for children. I think adults can learn a lot of. Sometimes these children books are maybe more important for us than for the children.
Actually, a lot of parents that have read it, or adults that have read it, love it. So yeah, it's for book for all ages.
Okay, so thank you very, very, very much. Have a lovely time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.